both places. It's just gone 29. Shall we start?
Yeah, go on.
I'm starting streaming on YouTube. We has red lights and we're up on Periscope. Titles as soon as you like.
Okay, titles now.
Morph's just joined on Periscope. Brian Coe. Alan and Tadley's joined. Deborah Spilotta's joined. We do we?
Yeah.
Matt Nutt's joined. Yeah, there's a few people that lose out of that one.
Well, there you go. Those were the titles, and yes, it's me. I'm in the control seat. Oh my God. Are you excited? Look at this joker behind me. Good evening. It's Monday.
Hello.
Yes. Hello, Dave. How are we?
Yeah. I'm canny for a lad, walking about and breathing as you do when you can, if you can.
Was that it?
Hi.
Let's say hello to chat. Hello, chat. Everyone in chat.
Hello, chat.
Who's in Periscope?
Oh, Lord, there's loads of people. Well, there's at least 9. Super 7's there, and Morph is there, and Brian Coe is there, and Deborah Spilotta is there, and there's a whole host of other people who the names went by, and you kind of go, oh, hello, there was something about Georgie. No, it's you. I don't know. They're retweeting it as well.
Yes, I'm muted. Yeah. Otherwise, there'd be lots of noise coming out. I'd take me the ear out. I don't actually like having 2 ears in. It kind of,
You'd look silly without them, and your glasses would fall off.
Yeah, but it echoes in your head. I don't like it.
What, do you monitor yourself like?
I've got everything monitored. Just not my voice. I've got you. But obviously you can hear yourself in your head, can't you? It's one of those weird things. I don't like it.
Well, kind of. Paul Robinson's joined as well.
Yes, well, we've got Rob, we've got Bernice, we've got Pete Collins, we've got Brian Coe, we've got Andy Oakley, we've got Wraith Tech, we've got John Summers in there, Brandy Brown, Plopham there now, Lloyd, John Summers.
Monster Rob's joined. Brian Coe said hello, Marco. Paul Robinson said hi, Dave. Hi, Marco. This is on Periscope.
And
Don't you know?
Goth Vapor Mark says hello, Mark and Dave.
Yes. Is that not a band? No, it was Chaz and Dave, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
People wonder why we talk shite for 2 or 3 minutes at the start of the show, you know.
Do they really?
Yeah. And I should explain, it's to allow people to come in and take a seat, you know, wipe their backsides if that's what they need to do, fill their glasses, have a vape. Super 7's looking forward to Vape Jam. Are you going? I'm going. Believe it or not. Oh, well, this is preempted. It was starting the show a little bit early, but I'll go with it. I don't mind going with it. Shall I go with it, Marco?
Go with it. You're on screen.
I'll go with it. I'm on screen. Yes, I'm going to be there with the NNA and VIP and INCO. There's going to be all 3 of the major advocacy organisations in the UK will be at Vape Jam. We will have a stand, and get this, INCO will have a speaker on stage. Judy Gibson will be up there. She's leading off the charge, and then yours truly follows Judy on all 3 days on the stage. Now, in order to fit in with the theme of last year, I'm going to do it topless. As in, I'm not wearing a hat. Yes. So, yes, we'll be at Vape Jam. Come along and say hello. Shake hands. Just hands, mind, nothing else. It would be wrong. That would be wrong. That would be wrong. He's not saying anything. And yes, come and say hello. Please do. It'll all be good. Stewart has just joined on Periscope. Whatever happened to Swaff, says Sputs? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, mate. I haven't heard from Andy Sutton in over a year. If you're watching, Andy, get your frigging finger out, son, and have a natter with it.
Yeah, if you're wondering what's happening with Swaff, yeah, I would send Andy a message because we haven't got a clue, unfortunately. Apparently, Periscope is something to do with submarines.
Is it?
That's in our chat. Andy Oak said it's a submarine thing because Lloyd Johnson was asking what Periscope was. Periscope is kind of live streaming from Twitter, isn't it? Really? Ish.
Why has Mandy Brown said, "Ooh, evening father-in-law"? Have you got a daughter you don't know about?
Maybe there's someone else in chat.
Ah, right.
Yeah. And Plop NL says topless. Isn't that vaping without a drip tip? Oh yeah, I don't know. Your guess
Thought that was. I thought that was exhaust piping.
I must not turn you down slightly. So talking about
They like that?
the jam that is the vape,
The jam that is the vape.
and obviously we all went to the first one. I didn't go to the last one, and I'm not going to this one either, strangely enough. But you are hitherto on your way down there at the weekend. Who in Periscope and who in chat, live now, is going? I would like to know. While you do that, I'm going to go to Dave.
It's a hell of a drive.
Sorry, I had to cough.
Did you?
I had a dry throaty moment. Yes.
It's not the cough that carries you off, it's the coffin they carry you off in, don't you know?
I've heard that. Yeah. I'm probably going to be interred in a reusable carrier bag.
No. I've decided I want a spike through the centre of my head. And then they can mount me on me Harley and bury me upright like that.
I bet that's not going to be the first time you get it mounted on your Harley. But we won't go into that.
Oh, you dirty-minded sod.
Now, excuse me for looking up all the time because that's where I've got chat. Normally chat is on the laptop, but unfortunately that's where Dave is. I've got
what do you mean, unfortunately, you
I've got to bring
sod?
Dave in through the laptop. So I've got chat up there now. I could put it over there, but then I couldn't see the laptop.
Plop in the Netherlands is saying he's got no transport, some volunteers to come and pick him up in the Netherlands to get the vape jam. Get on the ferry.
Yeah, get on the ferry.
Get on the ferry to Newcastle, train down to London, you're done. Where is it? It's at Excel is where it's at.
Excel
in
Arena.
The Docklands.
Yeah, great.
Excel in the it's in the Docklands. Actually, you can sit and watch Air Raleigh planes taken on and off from the London City Airport, from where it is. It's a lovely venue. Got some nice eateries around it as well, and very good hotels apparently. It's all good. I'll be lowering the tone, obviously, by my mere presence.
Yeah, well, that's to be expected.
Was good last year. There's cable cars. Monster Ops pointed out there's cable cars as well, and you can get a £50 return on Ryanair from. Is that from Schiphol? It won't be from Schiphol. Surely to God, Ryanair won't fly from Schiphol. Or as it's known in the Netherlands, shithole.
Isn't there another one though in the old Dutch land?
Well, there's bound to be more than one. It's a fairly big place.
Further out, because I know a lot of the cheaper airlines go to these places that are like 3 hours away by donkey.
Super 7 says Custom House DLR station is closed. Use Prince Regent instead. Does this mean I'm going to have to walk?
Possibly.
Oh yeah. God, I was going to take my life in my hands and use the railway thingies, that thing they've got down there. Not the tube. I tell you what it is. You say my daughter's doing this thing. If she's scared of something, she'll do it, and I'm shit scared of the tube. So I said to myself, right, David Dawn, going on the tube when you get off the King. At the King at Rails Cross? No, when you get off the train at King's Cross.
I haven't been on the tube for a long time, but there is nothing worse, let me tell you, Dave, and anyone else watching, there's nothing worse than Tooting Broadway to Hendon on the Northern Line in the summer. It's just not good at all.
There's nothing worse than the tube.
No.
End of story.
I'm
not that keen on bloody London. I prefer Birmingham. It is a long walk from Luton, says Rob Tuffy in chat. He's not wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get a decent train though from Luton straight into King's Cross quite cheaply. You book it in advance.
Plop in the Netherlands needs a volunteer to pretend to be him and do a first aid course. Have you cut yourself? Use your plaster. There you are, do that. Rob Tyfey's been impressed by the new Circle Line trains. Amazing.
I've not. Well, like I said, I've not seen a tube train for many a year. I don't use them. I don't go to London that often.
See, now we're getting words of advice from Wraith Tech. He says the tube is fine, but get good in-ear phones that do noise isolation, not cancelling. Takes the noise out of you. You see, you're not selling it. You're not. You're just not selling it.
It's not the noise, it's the pain in the arse. It's the fact that it's so hot and sweaty in there in the summer.
Full of people. I'll get a car. Sorry, I'm getting a cab.
Nothing worse than having an armpit thrust out.
Getting a cab.
People trying to read broadsheets like this in the carriage, no, not good.
Well, I mean, to be honest, since the band's smoking on the tube, all you can smell is sweaty feet and what time of the month it is.
Oh, Dave, please. That's just shocking.
Well, it's truth.
Plop NL says, Marco, try a train in India. Never been to India.
Incredible India.
Never been.
There's an advert for that, you know.
And Lloyd says St Pancras from Luton. Yes, well, that is technically, King's Cross, isn't it? It's King Cross St Pancras or St Pancras International, which is a 2-minute stride from King's Cross main line. That I do know because I've been there quite a few times. Yes. What is the Periscope link? Paul Wilkins has said.
I've just typed it in.
Marvellous.
www.periscope.tv/VaporTrailsTV.
Marvellous.
Is where it is.
Talk amongst yourselves for a minute, Dave, while I just do something.
What are you doing now? You've put it. Oh, he's a bugger for this. He's got all the buttons to press, and then he just throws it to me because apparently I'm a gob on a stick. Well, I am a gob on a stick, and we've actually got quite a lot to talk about tonight. And he's just putting off the moment when I say, why should non-smokers never use e-cigs or never take up nicotine use? But I've seen he's put down whatever it is he's playing with now. So come on, bugger lugs. Why? Why?
Well,
why do you say that? What possible scientific reason can you have?
There's no scientific reason. We had this conversation last week, dear viewer.
No, we didn't. We put it off till this week. Don't try and wriggle out of it.
We had this conversation last week.
We did.
You and I had this conversation last week, and we said, that'd be a good topic for next week's show because it'll fill 5 minutes. So
it'll fill longer than that if you don't give up being stupid.
So we were talking about never smokers, vaping, and I was of the opinion that I couldn't understand why a never smoker would want to pick up an e-cig. But then Dave said what he's going to say now.
Well, why the hell wouldn't they?
Yes, but what's your arguments? Give us your full argument.
Well, my argument is very simple. And as Morph has said, there's absolutely no reason at all why a never smoker shouldn't vape. There's no reason why anybody should try and legislate such that they can't. The bottom line on it is, right, I have in this glass, and I know it looks a bit big for having such things in a glass, that's a gin and lemonade. And it's not a small one, right? That's alcohol, that's a drug. And we know what the dangers of alcohol as a drug are. That's a risk. I know what the risk is. I'm quite happy to take it. Caffeine. How many amongst us do not drink caffeine? There's very, very few. My wife went through a period of having decaffeinated coffee and decaffeinated tea, and I thought, well, quite. But there, you see, they are. How old is a child in the UK when they have their first cup of tea or their first cup of coffee? There's kiddichinos that you can go and buy at Starbucks and Copster and various other coffee establishments are available. And, kids get started on caffeine. Kids get started on caffeine at an early age. Cup of tea when you're 5 is far from unheard of. In fact, it's the norm. You're trained into it. It's the British lifestyle, the English lifestyle. Tea from the age of 4 or 5. It's happened for years and years and years. They tried it with me, I vomited. Fair enough. So when you look at nicotine, It's the flip side of the same coin that caffeine's on. It isn't an issue. Why should people not understand why people might want to enjoy the benefits of nicotine? Because there are benefits. It's a stimulant. It's a memory enhancer. It's a concentration enhancer. Why shouldn't people use it? I used to even get caffeine tablets when I was a kid, and we used to go and pop them before exams to help us concentrate and shit.
The old Pro Plus.
Yes, Pro Plus tablets. So come on, why? What is it? Tell me, and I'll shoot you down. Every argument you've got, I've got the counter argument. Come on, let's have it. Bring it on. Bring your best. Bring it on. Bring it on.
There's no argument at all. It was just a throwaway comment I had last week, which you just latched onto and went, oh, why shouldn't they? Because they can have coffee and they can have tea, and I mean, if you look at the French start their children on, wine and water when they're younger, and then they get onto harder stuff.
Sort of sensible Brits.
I mean, yes, I was drinking from the age of 12. I was smoking fully from the age of 15. People in chat here are saying things like, let me go up here with the other screen, roll it back a little bit. Chris Bailey said people try things because they are curious, and that is very true.
Oh, there's some curious people out there.
There are some curious people.
There's two curious people on here.
And Andy Hill said, I've accidentally got a few ex-smokers 4 years quit vaping and a non-smoker vaping purely by being around me and trying mine. I didn't push them into it, but trying mine made them curious and they enjoyed it, so here we are. And Plop&L says, isn't there nicotine in tea? Yes, there is, but it's not much.
It doesn't really matter. Look, the bottom, why I picked up on it is what you said. It was a throwaway line. And I'm seeing throwaway lines that are damaging us happening all the time. It's people not thinking before they put the mouth into gear. And it's dangerous and it's damaging. And I see an awful lot of it. And this is going to lose me a lot of friends. I see a lot of it in the States. I see this whole, I'm converting smokers, I'm saving smokers, all of this kind of thing. And it's throwaway lines, and it's bordering on appeasement, and you can't win anything by appeasement. I tell you what, we know what the science is, we know what the facts are, and anybody that says, well, you shouldn't be putting anything in your lungs but fresh air, I'm going to London on Friday.
Yeah.
When I get off that bloody train in King's Cross and take my first breath, the last thing I'm breathing there is fresh air. There'll be diesel fumes. There'll be God knows what floating about in the air. Germs, nasty, noxious chemicals and all that kind of stuff. Does anybody give a second thought to that? No, they bloody don't. And I'm here to tell you, in terms of vaping, the vape, that stuff there that's wafting about, I must have breathed 1 million gallons of that over my time as a sound engineer in various places where there's, haze machines. People call them smoke machines because they don't know what they really are. Haze machines, vapor machines, pumping the stuff out. Right behind me head, things with a 5-litre container that gets filled 3 times during the course of a show, and there's a bank of 5 of them behind me, so that the light beams show nice and for various other effects and stuff like that. I'm breathing that for all of my work in life. And look, I'm not dead.
No, you're still
Just
there.
Not dead.
You're still living and breathing and walking. Yeah.
I'm walking about and breathing and capable of doing all sorts. WMD Paul Wilkins has just said invisible pollution kills up to 9,000 people a year in the capital, but under government plans, from school gates to shopping streets, Londoners will be banned from vaping and smoking and stuff like that. Sorry, it faded off. It's crazy. It's utterly crazy. The whole notion that, we've got to stop non-smokers from taking these things up because, they've never breathed anything nasty into their lungs is pure and utter bullshit.
Totally
is
with
what
you.
it is.
Yeah, I'm with you on the fact that there's a lot of noxious fumes around, especially in inner cities. Um, if you're, bumper to bumper in traffic, for instance, with your air coming in from the car in front with the exhaust, that's the worst place you can be. So people who tailgate all the time, 2 feet away from the car in front's exhaust, without putting the little button on your car that circulates the air that's in there already, are probably going to get more noxious stuff than they would from vaping.
There's a shed load of stuff from our chat you need to be picking up on. I'll grab one.
I'm looking at Martin Pingu says vaping is a victim of his own success. It looks too much like smoking for the purists to acquiesce, and the cloud blowers to do little except the wrong kind of attention.
Oh, well, that's another conversation. Max Drummer said, DD, personally, I don't care, each to their own. Fed up of the cock knockers like Bubblegum Pratt. They annoy me. John Summers has said that his dad might not have died as a result of Parkinson's had we been allowed to try him on NRT. Rob Toffees recently saw a couple that he knows. He'd advised the wife about e-cigs, but the hubby was a contented pipe smoker. This time I was surprised to see that he was using an e-pipe and apparently just as contented. Doctors wouldn't allow it as it was an off-licence use. This is with regard to the NRT. Paul Wilson's got it dead right. Throw away the throwaway lines. I mean, really, we've got to think about what we say before we say it, It's why I've always been very careful about how I phrase things. I know sometimes it might appear that I'm ranting for the sake of it, but I've already got in my head how I want to phrase things. So aside from one video I did 7 years ago now, where I was appealing for help because e-cigs save lives and was getting people off smoking and all of this kind of stuff. Aside from that one, I've always trumpeted the same message. These things are safe enough for everybody to use if they want to. They're safe enough for everybody to use if they want to. I object to people being forced to. I really don't like the Ruth Malone idea of using them to inveigle smokers into the end game and get them off smoking. If they want to smoke, let them smoke. Their choice, their body, their lungs. And do bear in mind that they'll transplant smokers' lungs, and some transplant surgeons prefer them because they're stronger. Just a thought. And, well, I've rehearsed the arguments I don't know how many times. You've heard them all 1,000 times, everybody that's watching. So, yes, I just don't see a problem with it. Plop says he's working along highways, there's no fresh air, but he worries about realistic dangers, as in the fucking traffic. Be brave, we haven't blocked it. Leanna Lawless says to John, I think it's fairly recent that protective effects of nicotine were found, but you've been able to buy NRT for years. That's actually not true, Lee. It's not true. They've known about the protective effects of nicotine for years, but the big gobs that don't like people smoking have shouted way louder than the folks that have got proper ethics that have actually put the truth out there. It's vitally important that we only ever put the truth out there, and it's vitally important that we only ever speak the truth. Otherwise, we risk damaging the cause, if you want to call it that. And the fact of the matter is, I'll keep on saying this until I nail the wooden lid down on my box. The bottom line on this is very, very simple. If people are given the choice, they tend to opt for the more acceptable and safer thing. So it seems fairly obvious to me that if vaping is made more acceptable, if people are fully educated on it, if we get the kind of in-depth documentaries that they do on macaque monkeys and penguins in Guatemala or where the hell ever, right? If they had David Attenborough on there going, and here we see a vapor, he's an old silverback, we think he's called Dave, and he's been vaping for 8 years, and it's not going to harm him. It's not going to harm his children, and it's not going to harm his children's children. And in fact, it might even be doing some good for Dave by offsetting the age at which he gets both Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. If that was to go ahead, if they told the whole truth all the time, if we got that on the telly, then all of this buying into the medicinal nonsense would go by the board, and people would see what vaping actually is. And what it is a perfectly pleasant and acceptable alternative to smoking, which many people, if they knew the truth, would choose to take up. The quit word doesn't need to come into it. The pleasure principle guides everything. And I'm giving away what I'm going to be saying down at Vape Jam. And even when it comes down to cloud chasing, let's be honest about this. People only object to that because they don't bloody know what it is. I've never seen anybody object to a fire eating act in London, blowing flames all over the place and juggling things with paraffin on, flames all over. Nobody ever objects to that. Nobody objects to seeing a sword swallower on, no, not that kind, a sword swallower on the pavement outside King's Cross. They don't object to beds of nails and stuff like that. They just don't. But they see a cloud come out, and because they don't understand what it is, it scares them. We need to educate people. That's the bottom line, isn't it? Come on, Marco.
It is. I was reading chat. Yes, you're right. No one's really complained about an old fakir, have they? On a bed of nails.
Not this old fakir.
But yeah, the old sword swallowing. But if you think about it, when does somebody decide they want to do the fire breathing thing? When they're putting an accelerant into their mouth, which is going to be poisonous, and they're ingesting some of it. You know, if they suck instead of blow, they're in big trouble.
I've been saying that to women for years.
But one of the questions I was looking at is, I'm using the wrong mouse. Hold on, back up here. Come on, where are you?
Rob Wells has said his ethics anywhere near Kent.
That's what I was looking for.
There's a lot of Kents have no ethics. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Now, I'd quite like to see Dr. Michael Mosley revisit what he did on Horizon previously.
Yes.
Because that was a well-balanced piece of journalism from, a relatively respected person of medical knowledge who decided he was going to smoke for the first time ever to actually understand the effects, and also vape for the first time ever to actually understand the effects. And then there was some of the community that we know of who took part in the tests that they did. But I think it does need a revisit.
We need... Look, let me put my NNA hat on for a second. I might get my backside kicked for this, but let me anyway. I would love to think that we had 20 million quid available to us so that we could go out and film a proper doco. It would cost a fair amount to do. Film a proper documentary where we spoke to the right people and educated folks. But get it fronted by somebody, properly famous. You know what I mean? Somebody that's in the public eye and that everybody likes. I can't think who that would be. I really can't. And then pay for it to be on as many bloody television channels as was humanly possible. Get it up there and get people to understand that what they're seeing isn't going to do them any harm. It's just not. It just isn't. Yes, it inconveniences a few people. And yes, if you're on the tube or in a train and you completely cloud a compartment out, then you are being a dick. Let's be honest, you are. But if you're sensible about it, and this new nicotine salt juice could help that, I've got to say, and we'll come on to that a bit later on as well, then I can't. I've never known anybody have a fit of the heebie-jeebies going into a theatre or a nightclub that's absolutely clouded out, coming out of a machine. It's only when it comes out of somebody's mouth that they start getting their knickers in a twist. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I would concur with that hypothesis. And it's down to education again. If people understood what was in the plumes of stuff that was coming out in discos and nightclubs and concerts and the like. They may think it's dry ice, they may think it's smoke, but they don't understand what it is. And we know what it is. We know it's propylene glycol going through a heating element, and it's being injected at speed. I mean, there's a lot of
propylene glycol. There's a lot of ethylene glycol gets used in it.
Ethylene glycol as well.
Yeah.
And you can get the same kind of thing in fog cannons, which are used as a security device. So what you get there is pressurized, and if somebody hits the alarm, it pushes this stuff at great speed, causing huge plumes, which kind of disorientates the robbers or the would-be thieves. And
Robbers.
Yeah, robbers.
Robbers.
Yes. Now I'm just looking back in chat. I'm using the wrong blinking mouse again, which is changing the screen. Hold on. Oh, these pushing button things. Yes. Now, Ian.
See, like. Go on.
I was going to say, Dr. Mosey never got addicted to vaping. Was Ian Bruni? He commented about that.
Lloyd Johnson has picked up somebody in chat and said it's not quitting, it's switching to a safer alternative.
Yes, which it is.
That might, you get a gold star and a brownie point. And Leanna Lawless has said, I hate those who treat switching as the modern way to quit. Get in. Do me a favour, everybody watching, everywhere in the world, take the Q word out of your vocabulary. It has no place being in there. It is a word used by the public health tobacco control establishment in order to control you and your thoughts. Get rid of it. Do not appease the bastards. Do not let them grind you down. The word is switch. And on that subject, Miles Dolphins has just clattered into Periscope that he is still fully switched, hasn't had a fag since he got the salt juice.
Well, there you go. Let me just move that mouse out of the shot again because it's don't know why it's there. Now you've got some news on the salt juice, haven't you?
I have.
Let me
There
shift
was
myself. There you go.
You were what?
I just shifted on the seat.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said something else. I was going to say I haven't made that controversial, have I? My goodness me. Salt juice, yes. Now, I have a correspondent, Annette, who, after last week's show, sent me a link to, I think it's called nudenicotine.com. Nude, N-U-D-E, nicotine.com. Google it, it's something like that, right? And I have ordered from there a whole 1 litre of 72 milligram nicotine salt in pure glycerin with no added propylene glycol. This is for my darling wife, who loves the salt liquid, aside from she's never ever been able to get away with PG. So all of our juices that I've mixed for her over the last, what must be 4 years now, have always been all VG. So now I've ordered this and I'm going to mix her up some, get this, because she was on 12 milligram. I'm going to mix her up some 6 milligram because she's been using the 5 and getting away with it very nicely and using an awful lot less than she has been of the ordinary nicotine liquid. I've also been having a chat with Brian Court tonight via the old Facebook Messenger, as it were, and we're kind of looking into how this nicotine salt stuff sits with respect to the law. But my feeling is it's not covered by the TPD. I need to confirm all of this, but I think a salt of nicotine or a compound of nicotine isn't covered by the TPD, because if it was, vitamin B3, isn't it B3, Marco?
Oh, it might be. Is that B5?
I think it's either B3 or
It's a
B6. It's one of the Bs.
Yeah.
It's nicotinic acid, so it's got nicotine in it. That's a vitamin, you see, and that would be covered by the TPD, as would tomatoes and potatoes and God knows what else, really. So I suspect it might not be. I'm going to investigate this a little bit further, try and talk to the right people and see if I can get a judgment on it, in which case, happy days. 72 milligram in litre bottles, mixing it done. but it's on its way from the United States of Americania, where Americans live, and we'll see what happens. I'm absolutely certain I'm going to get slammed for some customs duty, but frankly, my dear, I do not give a damn. In fact, I woke up this morning with 12 dams. And here I am sitting, I still have 12 dams. I haven't given a damn all day. I should probably have worded that with the F word, but fucked if I'm going to swear.
Can't keep him down, can you? Can't keep him down. Well, I shall be visiting when I'm up there for a cup of tea with an empty bottle.
Will you be buggered? Well, apparently it's going to take 6 to 10 days to get here.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
It's not bad at all. I'm happy enough with that. And it's cost $160 it's cost me all in.
So about £149.95 then.
Listen, look at it like this. If I'm going to mix it down to 6 milligram for her, I'm going to get 12 litres of juice out of this.
Oh, yeah.
So let's call it 180 quid, because that divided by 12 works out at £15 a litre. Or 15 pence a 10ml bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, even if you're using 72 milligram normal liquid, it's the same thing, but you can take it a little bit further using the salt liquid. And I have to say, I've finished all the bottles that I was sent, and I finished the last one yesterday, and there was about that much left in my tank, so I just filled it up with something else. But for the last 4 days, I think, 4 days, I was sub-ohming it, and it was nice. It was very nice.
The 5 milligram in a 10 coil core is rather pleasant, has to be said.
Yeah, mine was just a single coil.
Max Drum says he was in Blythe last weekend and he was wrecked. He loves a decent gig. We know how to party up here. Ours actually was demonstrated on Sunday when 1,000 bikers got together to support the Hartley family for Jamie and Kyle's Jamie's last ride at any rate. That was heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. Miles has said he's halfway through his second large batch from Daz, which is good to hear. This is Daz at Safer Cigs, safercigs.co.uk. He's got the Mr. Salt and the Dr. Salt. And from my perspective, I think it's a great thing. Say, Brian, I'm not sure it'll be captured. It's not necessarily a nicotine-containing e-liquid. It's a nicotine salt-containing liquid. And it's a different thing from nicotine. This is why we need to check it. It might be the loophole that the Department of Health could implicitly endorse, as it were, and say to the MHRA and trading standards, if it's nicotine salt, it doesn't count. You know? We just need to bring, not pressure, but a little bit of sense to bear. And we know the right people to talk to. We just need to talk to them in the right way and get them to understand that in this case, they actually need to try and appease us. Otherwise, we won't be appeased. We'll not be happy. We'll be upset, be mad, we'll be stutting, we'll be bouncing up and down. Come on, Marco, mouth's dry.
I was waiting for you there. Yes, it would be interesting if it isn't covered, and if it isn't covered, what do you think the possibility of them doing some jiggery pokery to get it covered?
Well, if we went about it the right way, we would force it to be covered in Parliament. And if they're going to take it into Parliament and start talking about it, then they've got to be looking, now that Article 50 is being triggered, at considering the whole thing. I don't think they want that can of worms opened, myself. I think they'd be quite happy to go, aye, all right, get on with it. And I think you could take it to a court of law. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, or anal, as the hashtag would be. I am not a lawyer, but a salt is not what it's. I mean, a magnesium salt isn't magnesium, is it? Might have magnesium in it, but it's not magnesium. It doesn't have the properties of magnesium.
So
I don't know.
What if it was sold as either powder or crystalline form? That would not be a nicotine-containing liquid at all.
That's correct. Brian said, plus why do you think that dual 5% is illegal right now? It's not that I'm aware of. I think people have been told it's non-compliant by people who are selling compliance, is what I think.
Possibly.
And
people who have paid a lot for compliance wanting to sell stuff.
Yes.
Because let's face it, a lot of vendors now have shelled out thousands and thousands of pounds to become compliant for next month, for God's sake. So
Aye.
a lot of them, are they going to want it to be repealed? Having spent all that cash?
Well, Rob Taffy's just said, suppose they banned sodium. Would that cover table salt too? Sodium chloride?
Well, it would, wouldn't it?
Would it?
Well, if it was a sodium-containing liquid, then you couldn't get saline at a hospital. So you won't be able to get saline in little squirty things for eye wash.
Well, if you ban sodium, that's sodium. And so you can't go to the chemist and buy sodium.
No, you have to get out from a specialist place.
And you have to be licensed in order to buy it. There are some similarities here. You can go and buy sodium chloride, no problem at all. I see the two as being very, very similar, and I think a court of law would as well. Now, like I say, I anal, but it's worth thinking about, and it's worth approaching the powers that be and saying, right, this is the situation. Sputs has said, people that are compliant are fools. There's loads selling Nick shots, didn't have to comply. Nick shots do comply. I have some here. I have a box of Nick shots here. There you are, look. They're even called, you can see it there, it says, Nick shots. Fully compliant. It is 3 10-millilitre bottles. Well, there was 3 10-millilitre bottles. There you are. Nick shots, fully compliant, 10-millilitre bottles. Totally compliant. And I mean, we were pumping this 2-3 years ago as a way of getting around. If you wanted 60ml bottles, you could get around it by using Nick shots.
Yeah.
And there's a fair few folks who are doing it, and power to them as well.
Yeah.
And I understand that there are certain trade organisations that think it's a bad idea. Those trade organisations can go and do themselves one. I think it's a great idea. I don't want 10ml bottles. I'd be quite happy to get a 120ml bottle with however many 10ml bottles I needed to tip in to make it up to the full 120ml and give me what I want. And honestly, any trade organisation that thinks it's a good idea to trip punters up by saying, no, it's only got to be 10ml bottles. Oh, I'm not going to mince me words. They can fuck right off. You've got no time from me. I can't abide you. End of.
I mean,
yes.
It is a crazy situation. I mean, we looked at these before, didn't we? The nicotine shots that I got from Dark Star. When I did that mixing with the big bottle, the 500ml bottle, which I don't know where it is. Oh, it's over there. Which is still very nice, the strawberry one. But to have to put 17 bottles or 16.6 bottles, I think it was, into the 500ml bottle to get 6 milligram was just ludicrous.
It's craziness.
Yeah, with the plastics and everything else and the landfill, and we know what the issues are here.
John and Brian are chewing the fat about nicotine salt solids are indeed covered by the Poisons Act. Yes, but I don't think the threshold is 1%. I think it's 75 milligrams per milliliter, if you want. 7.5%, I think, is the threshold, the same as it used to be. I don't think that got changed with the advent of the TPD. I need to look at it and consider it and work more, but I think it's an angle that's worth looking at. And anyway, it cannot be, because we've got the 20 milligram juice and it's already gone through notification and hasn't been taken off the market. So we'll find out on May the 20th, I suppose. Wraith Tech has said he's just going to grey market the fire truck out of the nick. Doesn't help newbies though. No, I'm going to end up buying in from the States. I am. I might even buy 100 milligram and ask them to label it up as something else. Yeah. Yes, Paul Swifty McTavish has just spoken about the 10 ml bottles with this product contains nicotine, even though it doesn't. Yeah, look, it's all wrong. It is all wrong. And I know that one or two MPs have been asking questions in the House of Commons about are we going to get this thing repealed. And bear in mind what we said a couple of weeks back, that Twigglett, Sarah Jakes, asked the question of government, and government is considering what the scientific stance on e-cigs and e-liquid is, and they may well be doing something about it. We've got to put pressure on. We've got to go and talk to MPs. Keep saying this. Build a relationship with your MP. Go and sit down and talk to them. They must know by now what the sense on all of this is and what the science on all of it is. But just go and remind them and tell them that you want their backing, so that if and when it's brought up, or if they fancy bringing it up, that we get the TPD regulations out of the TRPR, the tobacco and related products regulations. It's shite, get shot. It needs to be gone because it's bloody stupid and it's going to cause all kinds of ructions. It's causing enough now. Imagine what it's going to be like by May the 20th. The only upside to the way things are at the minute is that there's big bottles of juice going cheap all over the place. It just so happens the flavours I like aren't. They've gone. Should have kept my mouth shut about them. Yeah. But I didn't.
It appears that me muting my microphone hasn't really worked, and I think Raytech's heard me coughing quite a lot. That's what happens when you're drinking and you get it down. It gets down in the wrong hole.
I think you've got two mics open.
No, I've got this mic and the mic on the laptop, so it's coming through for some reason. But
yes, I mean, right. Tony P. UK has asked the question, who exactly are those warning labels protecting? The answer is nobody. Nobody. I mean, you've just got to have a look at one of these things. Where is it? There it is. Oh, I've dropped it.
I've got one here, Dave. Hold on.
No, that's a bottle. That's got nicotine in it.
Yes.
I'm going to... forgive me, I've gone green.
It's gone green.
Oh, I've gone green. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah. It's very green, isn't it? It's a lot greener on that screen than it is on this screen, I can tell you.
Right, I'm back.
I can see you.
Right. There you are. I'll pull it up so that the buttons don't hide it. This product contains nicotine, which is a highly addictive substance. This is a Vape E-Tank Pro. One of the pieces of kit that I really rather like as a mouth-to-lung piece of kit. And when you open it all up, as you will see, even though the device itself is not in there, look, no juice and no space for any juice. All there is in there is a spare coil, some spare grommets, and a charging lead. That's all. There is no juice in that whatever. And yet it says on the packaging, this product contains nicotine, and it bloody well doesn't. That is like going to a shop and buying a piece of newspaper that says this product contains fish and chips, which is a highly fattening product. And then when you get it home and unwrap it, there's bugger all in. It's not right. It's wrong. And we've got to fight this, because if the buggers get away with this, they're going to get away with everything. And they'll just keep on keeping on. You'll be going and buying bottles of lemonade that you would mix with gin to make a gin and lemonade, and the bottles of lemonade will say, this contains alcohol, which is a highly addictive bollocks.
Well, look, they've had peanuts for years that say this product may contain nuts. I mean, you know, or made in a factory where nuts are. Well, it's a bag of nuts. What do you expect?
Well, yes, but that is a bag of nuts, and it does contain peanuts. But when you've got warnings, I can kind of get the idea that if somebody is fatally allergic to peanuts, then yes, they might, they probably want to know. But by the same token, you just wouldn't take a chance, would you?
No.
You'd be eating cabbage and you'd boil it yourself if it was that bad.
No,
I mean,
I'm just looking at chat.
What? Go on.
Just looking at chat. Andy Oakley says Rizzler papers and NIT products don't carry that warning.
No.
So a Rizzler paper should have it on there because it's going to be used for tobacco, probably.
Is
you
it?
never know.
Maybe.
It might not.
Not in this house.
And Rob EFI says peanuts shouldn't contain nuts. Well, technically they're a legume, I think.
A legume.
A legume, yeah. They're not actually nuts because they go underground.
Yes, they're not a nut.
Yes, they're a legume, but peanuts.
Iron Bruni says maybe keeping costs down, one run of labels instead of 2 runs. Yes, apparently in the States they're now getting stuff with TPD labelling on. Crazy. It is bloody crazy.
Yes. And Paul Wilson says also peanuts aren't nuts. Yeah, they are legumes. But you can understand the point there, can't you?
Well, look, I mean, there is nothing that is in the TPD which is remotely an upside to anything, right? I've said this from the start, and it's true. There is no upside in the TPD. None. Zero. Nada. None of it benefits us as consumers. It just doesn't. There are some that will say, well, the testing, that's got to be good, but there should be testing anyway. It doesn't need government to get involved in testing. It needs us to be saying to suppliers, out of interest, have you had this stuff tested? Do you know what's in it? Can we have a full list of ingredients, please? And then if they don't give you that, you vote with your wallet and tell them to Foxtrot Oscar, you're not going to buy that kit. Let the wallet control it all. Now, some people will say, oh, it's a very capitalist attitude. It's not very progressive. Well, I ain't progressive. I look after myself, you know. I know sharp knives can cut you, so I tend not to thrust them at my chest. I know what the risks are. You don't, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand this stuff. I'm smiling.
Jay Summers has just said in our chat, products containing less than 1% of any of the portable chemicals or fertilizers that are not labelled for nitrogen content are in general of no concern.
Yes, it's not a threshold.
No.
It's not a threshold. It just says they're of no concern. They are weasel words. Yeah. They are mealy-mouthed words that allow them to do something if they feel like it. But I honestly think if we approach this the right way, we can get them exempted. And I think we've got to try.
Yeah,
if we don't try, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
If we say, oh well, no, it says, well, then fine, they win. And if that's what you want, fine, let them win. But it's not what I want. And I think we've got to talk to the right people and say, look, there's a case to be made here, exempt it. And then everybody's satisfied. Everybody can get what they need. That great swath, what was it, 250,000 vapers who would be using greater than 20 milligram e-liquid would be catered for. Let's see what we can do. It's pointless sitting down and letting them walk all over us. We've got to do stuff. If we just sit and let them do what they want to do, they'll do what they want to do. And the only people that's going to bloody suffer will be us. Nobody else. Because all these I want to be compliant bloody vape vendors just want to be compliant and make money. Sod that for a game of soldiers. Let's fight.
Well, we've certainly got a lot of vape-friendly MPs on side and a lot of vape-friendly lords on side. Now is the time, over the next, the coming months, as we go through the whole Brexit procedure, to do the Great Repeal Act. So they're going to start looking at all the laws, and there's something like 55,000 to go through. There's a hell of a lot of stuff to go through.
So but if we make enough, we need to make enough noise to get ours at number 1 on the list.
Yes, but this is the thing. We had this conversation, not 4 weeks ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, where we had thousands and thousands and thousands of people on the streets of London and around the country protesting because Trump got in and to be president of the USA, right? But we wouldn't get that kind of number of people to demonstrate against a law that is coming to force fully next month, which is going to kill people. That is crazy.
Yes.
It is totally crazy.
Martha's just said, it's not the point for those that follow. We need more people getting in front of their MPs. I could not disagree less. I could not agree more. We need people talking to MPs. They want your votes. And if you've got a Labour MP, they really want your vote. Go and talk to them. Go and talk to them. Tell them how you feel. Tell them that it's a pile of shite and it needs to be got shut off. Let's see if we can get this up to number 1 on the list of things that they need to get shut off. Make it difficult for them not to. Make their lives unreasonably unruly by constantly whittering on at them. Instead of letting those bastards grind us down, it's time for us to grind those bastards down. We, the voters, are the masters. They, the MPs, are the servants.
Indeed.
Let's make them understand that.
Yeah.
Let's make them do our bidding. Let's make them do what we want.
Well said. Because
Alan and Tadley said we should say vaping saves fluffy bunnies, then people will march.
I'm just going back to that John Summers comment because he's put the notifiables up. And they are hydrogen peroxide, nitromethane, nitric acid, potassium chlorate, sodium chlorate, potassium perchlorate, sodium perchlorate, acetone, hexamine, sulfuric acid, potassium nitrate, sodium nitrate, calcium nitrate, calcium ammonium nitrate, and ammonium nitrate.
Put them all together in a great big melting pot, and what have you got? You've got the biggest bloody bomb on the planet.
There's a lot of stuff there that can be used for in the wrong hands and the right recipe to make something that goes bang. Now I use saltpeter, potassium nitrate, for curing hams and sausages and stuff like that. But you can buy it obviously on the auction sites in small amounts, but I used to buy it from a butcher supplier in 2.5 kilogram pots. And some of that stuff, I'm sure we used to do something at school. God, this is going back a bit with potassium perchlorate. It was something weird with that.
You dissolved it in water and then painted it on blotting paper in a track. And then you lit the other end with a fag end and it went because it's an oxygenator for burning.
Yes.
It speeds up the reaction.
As do the nitrates as well, which is why potassium nitrate is a little bit...
it's very, very helpful in that regard, yes.
Yes, which you can get from copious amounts of
we need to stop talking about that, otherwise yes. GCHQ is going to be knocking at the door in the morning.
Well, there you go. But those are the notifiables. Thank you, John. And Ray Tate says Marco likes rubbing his sausages with salt. No.
Do you?
No, Steve. What I was saying is I would make things like the Polish kabanos, which is a smoked cured sausage, and I can make those kind of things. And, since I used to be a chef and all that, I used to do that kind of stuff. So I do occasionally get the smoker out at the weekend, and it's a proper smoker with big oak logs that smokes, which is apparently bad for you, smoking meat, but I don't really give a toss. It tastes nice. So yes, and Raytech says battered sausages are awesome to the max. Yeah, I disagree with that one, to be fair. Bit of fish, but not a battered sausage. No.
Do you never batter your sausage, Marco?
No, I like my sausages as they are.
So you like your sausage au naturel?
You dirty bugger. Raytech, you keep prodding me and I'll put the video up of your ceiling.
Put it up anyway.
And Max says I'm bragging. No.
This conversation that's going on between John and Brian, I'm quite enjoying. John says that, Brian asked, you said salts come under the Poisons Act, so what are the restrictions on it with regards to TPD? As I said earlier, and John's just backed me up, it's not mentioned in TRPR in either direction. It's not explicitly covered. Only nicotine is explicitly covered. Nicotine salts, nicotine pyruvate, vitamin B3 or whichever one it is, they're not explicitly covered in the TRPR. And if they're not explicitly covered, that may be the loophole we need. So we need to try.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you don't try, you will fail. If you do try and you fail, at least you've tried. But if you don't try, you will fail. You can't win if you don't try. You have to try.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth a prod.
We've got to be constantly making ourselves heard, making our voices felt in places where they need to be felt, in Parliament, in the Department of Health, at the MHRA. We've got to constantly be battering on at them and saying, look, I mean, Brian, you yourself know when it comes to drippers and stuff like that, the MHRA hasn't got a bloody clue. They don't have a stance. They don't have anything written down. They don't know what to do with it. It comes as a kit. So they don't know. They haven't got a clue. They haven't been able to answer. We might be in the same position with nicotine salts, in which case, happy days. Litre bottles of the stuff. Yes, it's 72 milligram. Who wouldn't want that?
I certainly wouldn't want to vape it at 72 milligram.
No, you mix it.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. I agree 100%.
Brian's just asked the question, is nic salts in a liquid not nicotine contained in liquid? No, it's no more than salty water is potassium contained in a liquid. Or not potassium, sodium. Sodium chloride is a salt of sodium. You cannot legally go and buy sodium unless you're licensed. But you can buy sodium chloride, dissolve that in water, and you've got saline. But it's not a sodium-containing liquid because it's a salt, it's a compound. It's a different chemical. It's not an element. So...
Yeah, no, that's the one in oil, isn't it?
You have to, you have to store it under oil. If you put sodium in water, you get an explosion.
Yes, we used to throw it in the school pond.
Yes, so did we. Big sticks of it was great.
Yeah.
Safe cooking the fish.
Yes, it's not cheap. Yeah, there's a lot of comments about sausages, but which we'll just gloss over those now, I think.
Right. Liam Ballbeck Days has just said, John, is nicotine salt B3 then? Remember that about vitamins now. It's nicotinic acid. They decided not to call it nicotinic acid because they thought that would put people off using vitamins, so they called it niacin. It's nicotinic acid, an acid of nicotine, in other words, but it's not nicotine. So nicotine pyruvate is not nicotine. It's like salt is not sodium.
And you'll find that in your Common Garden cornflake.
Yes.
Because it's added there. Also, you'll find it in the crispy rice cereal and a lot of other cereals as well. In fact, they put iron filings, well, powdered iron, into cornflakes as well.
Yes. Reacts with the proper fillings, the one or two that I've got left.
It goes, so yes. Interesting. It's an interesting proposition, isn't it? And it'd be interesting to see how it pans out.
There's potential here. There's potential. There's a crack. There's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train coming the other way. You know, there is the possibility that this could be done. And this is just me talking. There's nothing official. There's no three-letter acronym hat on at the minute. This is just Dave. I think we've got potential here, and I think we need to explore it. I think we need to be talking to the right people and saying, look, here's the loophole that we all need. Can we please have it widened a bit, get the speculum out, open it up, and let's get through the crack to the light at the end of the tunnel. That's what we need to be doing.
Yeah. Now, Brian's put, we know nicotine is in veg, but they haven't been caught under TPD, and you cook them in H2O, lol.
Yes.
Well, there's tiny amounts. I mean, it's just ridiculously tiny amounts. And oh, it's gone. Hold on, it's gone up the screen. It's gone up the screen. I've increased the size of the screen so I can see the damn text.
I've got a long one as well, but it needs to be bigger.
Yeah, so Paul Wilkins, he said, are you vaping nicotine salt at 5mg in your sub-ohm tank? That's what he asked. What are you vaping on?
Me?
Yeah, what are you vaping on tonight? Go on.
Tonight I am, what am I vaping on?
A different night, man.
Oh, it's my own mix. This one's flavoured up with what we were talking about last week. The help me out.
Scream Queen?
Bavarian cream.
Oh, the one you made up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's Bavarian cream. Paul Wilkins has asked, is the CBD e-liquids that are zero nicotine in the TPD, or are they banned? Right. Now, CBD stuff has been captured by the MHRA as a medicine. You know? Medicinal. Because they use the man on the Clapham omnibus thing. In one part of our legislation, it says that cannabis has no medicinal properties. That's in one part of our legislation.
Disagree.
The MHRA, well, I disagree as well, but that's in one part of our legislation. It said cannabis has no medicinal properties. So they separated the CBD out, and because it's not THC, it doesn't come under the Psychoactive Substances Act, because it's not psychoactive, and then put it out on the market, and that's fine. And it does do what's claimed of it, but everything that's claimed of it is, guess what, medicinal, because it was all claimed in a medicinal way. So the man on the Clapham omnibus thinks that CBD oils or liquids or tinctures or whatever are a medicine, and now they are a medicine. And it was prompted by a pharmaceutical company coming up with a drug based on CBD, which is being used for epileptic seizures in adolescents and children. So they are thinking of the children and shoving the rest of us old bastards under the bus, because some of us use a lot of this CBD stuff because it does indeed make us feel a little better. Unfortunately, I cannot find a way of putting it that would not make it a medicinal claim, which is why I've always cautioned against saying exactly the same about e-liquid or vaping as opposed to smoking. Otherwise, the buggers will do it as soon as they get the chance. Yes, Medregs, 31, 12, 16. It went Medregs. So those of us that saw the writing on the wall bought a couple of litres in, didn't I?
Well, I still haven't tried it, to be fair. It's not something that's on my radar, but I'd give it a go if it was in front of me. I might try some. I might try some in May when we're at Vapor Expo.
Well, if you're coming up before then, I'll give you a bottle.
I might be there. I might be up on Thursday, actually, thinking about it, because I've got some things to do up that way.
I'll be out on the bike.
Yeah, probably.
If the weather's out like decent.
So let's have a quick look at chat to our stuff. Yeah.
CBD is Medregs, John.
Yeah. Yeah, there was
It's
a
got
little.
nothing to do with medicinal claims. It's Medregs.
There was a kind of a grace period, wasn't there? And then that was it.
Yes, it's gone.
Which was not good. So yeah, it'll be interesting actually what you're going to be seeing this weekend. So let's just kind of look forward the next 6-8 weeks, because Vape Jam is going to be the last expo before the regs come in, is it not?
Well, it's the last expo before the regs are meant to be fully implemented.
Yes, is what I mean, because Vapor Expo is the last weekend of May. I've gone the wrong way in my calendar, hold on.
You're not having much luck with your mice tonight, are you?
Oh no, in fact it's the 27th of May, isn't it? It comes in.
No, it's the 20th of May.
Oh, 20th. Beg your pardon, the week before. Yeah, so, and Vapor Expo is the week after that, because it's the 26th, 27th, 28th. Yes, and I still get the Monday off, which is good. Like it. So yeah, so Vape Jam is going to be the last hurrah before it becomes fully immersed. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on, and it will be interesting to see some VT if you get a bit of time.
What, from Vape Jam?
Yeah. Just a fill 5 minutes.
I can't promise anything. I'm not going downloaded for there.
No, just go down with the iPhone. You got the iPhone, haven't you?
Yeah, the iPhone and the gimbal.
Osmo,
if I can, I'm not taking the Osmo. I'm not going downloaded for there. I'm going one bag in it.
One bag.
Yeah.
One pair of pants, one pair of socks.
Let's not push the envelope too far.
You can turn them around. It's fine. So,
pair of jeans. Me NNA t-shirts will be there when I get there. That's it. The rest is for swag.
Can't be a bit of swag. Don't forget a bag of crisps. Take a bag of crisps with you.
Why?
And iron your shirt with it.
Eh?
You never heard that expression before? Someone's got a creased shirt. What do you iron that with? A bag of crisps.
I've always got a creased shirt. That's why I wear linen as much.
Well, the creases fall out.
That'll be the new NNA shirt, Smurf, yes.
So yes, it'll be an interesting thing to see what goes on this weekend. I'm assuming there's going to be a plethora of 30ml bottles going for cheap.
Oh, I would think there'll be hundreds and 120s and
maybe
quarter litres and half litres and litres. God, yes.
Yes. People have mentioned gin.
Gin?
And a bottle of 3 of gin, Max Trevor says. I think what you're going to take with you. And Tony P UK says craft gin.
Gin.
Gin, yeah.
I'll take a flask.
One of those 5 litre flasks. Do you want to borrow this? You can take that with you.
Oh, that'll be all right.
It's empty now, but it only had water in it. So yes. Now, there was something else we were going to talk about, wasn't it?
Was it?
And it was the story that we put on our website this week, which I haven't captured, so there's no screenshot, but it's the one from the New Zealand Herald.
Ah, yes.
E-cigarettes will be legalised. And this was published on the 29th of March, and it's on our Facebook page, so go and have a look if you would like to. But what it says is e-cigs will be legalised, with one expert concerned on how widely products will be available. I'm going to have to increase the size of this because it's just too far away.
The expert you're talking about is Janet Herc.
There we go. I see it now.
Who was in Ants, yes.
So the government announced today it will change the law to legalise the sale of nicotine e-cigarettes. Products will be legally sold at some point next year.
Yeah.
Wait a year.
Well, they've got to put the legislation through, and it takes time to do, even in New Zealand. But when I went over there and spoke to the chair of the Health Select Committee about e-cigs, in company, it has to be said, with Paddy Costel and Mario Glover, they were most receptive, shall we say, and saw the point. And Mario and others over there have been plugging away at this since I was over there, which is, 18 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
And they've achieved it. They've got it. They've got it sorted out. Government over there understands, and it's going to be sorted. And I know at the moment, for instance, there are vape shops selling nicotine-containing e-liquids over there, and a blind eye is being turned. New Zealand's got it right, and they're going to get it right, and it's going to be cracking. But they've got a lot of good names over there. The ones that aren't, the likes of the Janet Hercs of this world, well, they're going to get sidelined, and they'll get sidelined extremely quickly. I am so pleased for New Zealand. I am so pleased. In fact, we're that pleased, Jill and I are going back there next year, and I'm going to see if we can time it to go in on the day it's legalised. And there's going to be a hell of a party.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go back to that because the kind of last paragraph-ish. The new rules for all e-cigarettes and e-liquid products, whether they contain nicotine or not, include restricting sales to people 18 years and over, banning vaping in indoor areas where smoking is prohibited, and restrictions on advertising. Broader e-cigarette advertising, such as on radio, TV and billboards, won't be allowed, but retailers will be able to display their product at point of sale.
That'll change.
Yeah, and point of sale advertising was concerning, said University of Otago professor Janet Herrick, co-director of Aspire 2025, a research focus to support the government's goal of New Zealand becoming smoke-free by 2025. Well, if you help with the whole e-cig thing, then it will be smoke-free, won't it? It's
Yeah,
like a
Janet.
nicotine-free.
But Janet Herc doesn't say that. She's the fly in the ointment. I'm not allowed to use the other phrase. She's one of the flies in the ointment over there. Yeah, I don't mind having a word with her.
Well, yeah, maybe we should get Moana Glover on at some point.
I'll talk to Mario, see if she fancies coming on.
Yeah, might be an idea. And I was thinking also, going back to what we've been talking about most of the night, to be fair, is not only would I like to see an update on the e-cigarette story from Dr. Michael Mosley, I think you should give your friend Chris Troy a little tweet and see if he fancies doing a follow-up on what he did.
Yeah, that'll be an idea. I'll have a natter.
Yeah, I think we need to use as many contacts as we've got, and because we've got contacts in mainstream media, and that's the key, it's mainstream media, we need to use those contacts as much as we can.
I agree.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm chewing ice.
Yeah, don't chew ice, it's not good. Your teeth
Oh,
will
it
fall
is. No, they won't. Oh, shit.
out. I'm surprised you've still got ice in that glass, to be fair, because if I had ice in it, it'd have melted by now.
It's pint glass. That's the beauty of LED lights, mate.
Yes, I must put my LEDs up.
And home built ice. It's properly frost ice. This it's not the cheap nasty frozen water you get in some shops. This is proper ice. This.
Mine comes straight from the freezer door. Just put my thing in, it goes clunk clunk clunk, and out it comes.
Yeah, exactly right.
Filtered for niceness. So yes, let me have a quick look. Plop NL is talking about e-cig firmware.
Yes, apparently the deeming regs capture updated firmware as a tobacco product.
Yes, they do. Yeah,
That merely clarifies for me that the people in charge of America are fuckwits.
With an axe to grind or a profit to be made. Maybe.
Mostly the profit to be made.
Maybe,
yes.
Allegedly.
Yes, absolutely.
Covering all
right.
legal bases there. Yes, the alcohol is ice is frozen water. Correct.
How dare you say such a thing? No, off to the tower.
Oh, dearie me.
It's not just frozen water. I have solidified H2O in mine.
Have you?
Dihydrogen monoxide. It's a marvellous chemical. I use it a lot. Don't be taken in by all of the scare stories you hear about dihydrogen monoxide. It is true to say that every user of dihydrogen monoxide dies, but there's no correlation. There's no causative correlation thus far. Although those that have tried to breathe dihydrogen monoxide, 100% of them have died. So I don't know. Maybe it's not so good, but I use solidified dihydrogen monoxide. It's much better than frozen water.
I tell you what, it is fun, which not a lot of people actually get round to doing, but it is quite fun, and that is making ice cream with liquid nitrogen. That's
yes,
fun.
It is.
And it's not that expensive to buy. But yes.
Yes, Wraith Tech's got it. Dihydrogen monoxide. It's a chemical name, so it must be scary. Indeed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm scared of all chemicals, I am. You can tell just by looking at us.
Yes. Including the chemical you use on your hair and your beard to make it look grey. Because we all know that you're all, dark haired. Unlike me.
I thank you for those few kind words, but I am in fact ginger.
Yeah, good night. Yes, so that was the story from the New Zealand Herald.
I've got to say, it's thrilled me no end that New Zealand's gone the right way, and they've got this special relationship with us that's going to have Simon Chapman bouncing his head off every brick wall he can find because he's about to get overturned. I think it's great. I held when I went over there that if New Zealand was to go the right way, the domino effect would occur and we would see more and more countries topple and go the right way. It's not 100% the way we want it. To be fair, it's not, but it's better than it was, and it's definitely better than us, and shed loads better than the States. So it's a win. It is a win. There's more winning to be done, though. No time to rest on the laurels. There's more winning to be done. Yes. Small steps.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking at more stuff in chat. Plop NL.
Oh, they're on about warnings on water bottles.
Yes. Store them in a dry place.
Did you know that according to the EU, you cannot claim that water rehydrates you?
Well, technically, does it?
Oh, for God's sake, come on. Think about it. This product contains nicotine, which is a highly addictive substance. Water will not rehydrate you. Bollocks. Rehydration means puts water back into you.
Well, it needs to have the salts, namely the nicotine salts in it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't need anything. Water's water.
Did you not get the second part of that sentence?
Yeah, I did. I got it. Yes. I mean, seriously, honestly, you know, I always used to think that they were looking after us, but they're not. They're looking after themselves. They're just making life bloody difficult.
Yes.
And Scotland have finally put in the under 18 thing, have they? Well, that's a load of shite as well.
But we all know that a lot of it is looking after themselves, looking after the bottom line, looking after the shareholders, looking after the profit margins, looking after the cash in the bank. It's not about looking after us. That's all I've got to say on the matter.
Plopper now said there's a mandatory best buy date on salt. There's also one on cheese, and you can buy bottles of water that apparently have been filtered through mountains for millions of years. You buy it on the 1st of March and it'll say best buy end of June 2017. How the hell does that work?
Well, I'll tell you why. I don't understand the salt thing, because salt has been the go-to preservative for millennia.
It preserves itself?
Yeah. So salt and sugar will preserve for a hell of a long time. The idea of the best before on the bottles of water, especially plastic bottles, it's to do with the plastic leaching into the water. Glass bottles, there's no way that there's anything going to be permeating from the glass.
It goes on glass bottles as well.
I've never been one for taking notice of best before dates. Use by is slightly different, because use by is generally more to do with health. Best before is to do with flavour and or texture. I mean, I've drunk things that are a year out of date. I've eaten things that have been a year out of date. I don't really give a monkeys. If it's in a tin and the tin's not damaged and it's been in my cupboard and it's a year out of date, I'll just open the tin and eat it. I go
and buy beef, best consumed within 5 days of getting it home. Right, nice bit of steak. Nah, shove it in the fridge and leave it there another month. Then it's edible.
Well, it depends what kind of steak you're buying.
Good steak.
If I've got a bit of good steak in the fridge, it's in the fridge for like 24 hours. Then it's on the grill.
No. I mean, I'll go and buy half a cow at a time. And up here, I just found a place. We went out for a little bit of a toodle, and found a place. They're going to hang me steaks for 56 days for us.
Ooh.
They'll be black as your father's hat. Dry hung.
Yeah, but only on the outside.
Well, yes, but that's the way I like them.
Yes.
Dan said, should we stock up on our favourite large tanks just in case they don't supply extensions? Yeah.
Why not?
If you've got the wherewithal, you've got not all that long before they're not going to be available to buy in the shops. So get the ones you like. Stock up on stuff. If you've got the wherewithal, do it. That's not to say that you're not going to be able to buy them from foreign climes that are outside the EU. You will. But just in case, while they're there, and there's a lot of them are being sold off
cheaper.
Cheaper. Brian says, link me the Nick salts after the show, please. Google nude nicotine. Nude nicotine. That's where it came from. But I will, I'll link you up. Sputs has been buying up Atties. I'm buying coils up like there's no tomorrow.
Well, the only thing that I would need in case of anything breaking would be some spare glass tanks, and spare glass tanks are not TPD covered.
Exactly. Paul Wilkins has said, I see Daz has Dr. Salts and Mr. Salts. Have I tried both brands? No.
No, I haven't tried Mr.
Dr.
Salt
Salts.
either. And I've been waiting for some Mr. Salts to arrive for some time, and the person who's going to send it to me just hadn't sent them, so I will have to purchase them myself.
We'll get them from Daz because he's been good to us.
I'll speak with Daz, and I shall get some ordered so we can try them.
Yes.
And if you see any at the weekend, have a little looky see.
Yes, I'll see what I see.
Yes.
Brian, that was uncalled for. Lal's pussy is not nude. It's fully hirsute.
Well, you know what to say.
She's sitting stroking it now.
8 out of 10 shaving pussies prefer whiskers.
Yes.
Yes, Leanna, she likes talking about her feline
Yeah,
companions.
let's not go there. I see too many cats on Facebook.
Yes, yeah, but you got to like a cat on Facebook. Anyway, we've got 5 minutes, right?
Have we? Can we fill 5 minutes?
We've got 5 minutes to go. What do you want to discuss?
Who, me or them?
Anybody. You, them, us. Periscope, you got anything to say? Chat, have you got anything to say? You've got 5 minutes. Give us a subject, we'll talk about it.
Right, it's going to take 30 seconds for it to get there and us to read it.
They'll get
Prior to
4.5
that-
minutes.
Yeah, prior to that, I will say, on this ride that we did at the weekend, 1,000 bikers, I saw 2 people smoking and 102 people vaping.
Oh, nice one.
All over the place. It was brilliant. So there we go.
So I was just finishing off my drink there.
I'm trying to watch Periscope here.
Rob Wells said, what happened to the Italian-style policing?
Yeah. What happened to Italian-style enforcement? A trade organisation happened to that, mate. They got hold of people and said, we want strict enforcement. And in some circles, that's all they need to hear.
And the other thing I've got here...
Don't get me started on that.
No, that's for another show. We need more than 5 minutes. Apparently there's a new RBA TFV 12 version out today. That's a big deck, says Paul Wilkins.
What, for 12 coils on bloody hell? I wouldn't like that. Can Zero Nick and Nick shots be sold together in the same box? I don't see why not.
Nothing wrong with that.
And there was more vapors than smokers at a charity do. Sputs was out over the weekend as well. This...
Ooh, extreme close-up.
Sorry about that. This came with the nicotine shots and the e-liquid. There's what was nicotine free before I put the shot in. So yes, they can both come in the same box. That's what's that? That's Frontline Max VG Lemon Bomb. It's very, very nice.
Ooh. I must try this lemon... What is it, lemon curd or something? Dinner ladies?
Well, you'll get the chance at Expo.
That Dave Kitson likes?
He loves it.
Buys it by the gallon.
I've tried it. It's nice.
Yeah, I've not had it, so I'll try that. I shall be trying what I do when I go to the Expo and try everything.
Distant Scouser said, who, if any, still plans to sell Zero Nick juice in 100ml or more containers? There's quite a few doing it. And I mean, I don't know whether I'll be doing much live from Vape Jam, probably not. But if I am, I'll let you know then. And definitely at Vapor Expo, we'll be going round and finding out who's got the big bottles of the Zero Nick stuff that you can shove shots in to make a decent sized bottle. We'll be telling you all of that. Trust us.
And
we will.
We are planning to do the live shows again from Vapor Expo, from the stage. So that should be good, should it not, Mr.
Should be most excrement. Yes, it would be most excrement.
And who is it going to be? It's going to be you and me and Mr. Kitson, isn't it? Mr. Kitson coming to Vapor Expo? Matt's not coming to Vapor Expo.
I think Mr. Kitson's coming. Matt's not.
Yeah.
You there, I'm there, and the NNA will be there as well, manning our stand.
Yes.
Because ours is the VTTV NNA stand at Expo on behalf of NNA,
Oh,
as it were.
Plop NL has put not quite a link in. I don't know if you can get that or not, Dave, and link to that. But he wants to see you explode, apparently.
Yeah, I won't because I'm blocked.
And we've got a minute to go. So
Have we? Well, all right.
Not enough time. We don't want to see Dave explode.
Hang on.
It's not a happy sight.
I'm copying the link. I will put it into my browser. Paste it. Doink. Did not match any documents. Interesting. Do I need the wibbly wobbly wobbly?
Paul Wickens says, do some periscope when you're at Jam, Dave. I want to watch on the train on the way up. I'm sure Dave will be periscoping at some point during the event because he's normally periscoping something or other.
Normally. I don't want to search Google, I just want to go there.
Hold on, let's see if I can do it.
It's not coming up.
This is when you find out it's a link to something that's now installing something in the background. Hold on a sec. Oops.
You got it?
Hold on. Bear with.
I'm bearing with.
Oh yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Read it out.
Hold on. I'm going to send it to you on Skype so you can see it. Because you didn't put the www in front, the wibbly wibbly in front of it, did you?
Once the HTTPS.
Yeah, what a nonsense.
I'm blocked. Hang on. I've got to log out. Log out. And then click it.
Illegal cigarettes dangerous, more lethal than legal cigarettes, killing 2 out of 3 users.
Illegal cigarettes. What? Oh, what a load of crap. Illegal cigarettes dangerous, more lethal than legal cigarettes, killing 2/3 of users. I could cover that, and I could cover it in a very, very short length of time.
How about
and the
30
bottom line
seconds?
is, 30 seconds, it's actually true. The illegal stuff, the clone cigarettes that come in from China are full of lead and in some cases polonium.
You don't know basically what is in them at all. There's zero regulation on what
Rat
goes
droppings.
into them. Yeah, anything. It's like, people buying cheap blue pills. There were found to be brick dust in there, rat poison, all sorts of stuff. So
No, the brick dust's necessary to give you a bit of substance for the backbone.
Oh, I knew I should have said that. Anyway, and whatever you do when you buy those, make sure you drink plenty. Otherwise, you'll get a stiff neck for weeks.
Dan has just asked the question,
Yes.
I presume with reference to Vape Jam, are they going to let me on stage this year, DD? I am on stage all 3 days, and so is Judy from Inco. And I'll be up there doing a half-hour rant. Hopefully it'll be entertaining, it'll be informative, it'll be educational, and I know people will go away saying, bloody hell, that's taught me a lesson. So there you go. And it'll be serious, because folks will be going, oh, bloody hell, he's serious, him. That'll be it. Yes, so I'm speaking all 3 days at Vape Jam, and I'm also speaking at Expo. There's a shock.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, there'll be lots of speaking is going on Expo, on the main stage, and on the VIPTORS TV /NNA advocacy stage. And I think at that point in the proceedings, given that we are now 4 minutes over time, we shall bring this show tonight to a conclusion. What do you think, Mr. Dawn?
Oh, I conclude you're correct, mate. It's all happened.
It's all happened. It's all happened yet again. So it is, for me to say, for the first time for a long time, having not been in control with the fibre issues, and then my mixer was poorly, but now my mixer is better again. It's a good night for me, and it's a good night from him.
Good night.
Yeah. Tatty bye. Say goodbye, Dave. Wave.
Goodbye, Dave.
Wave. Wave.
Bye.
Wave. Wave.
I'm waving.
Wave.
I'm waving.
Wave. Credits. Bye. Credits rolling. Well, that was fun, was it not?
You what?
That was fun, was it not?
Yeah.
Oops.
It's amazing.
Yeah. These are. That's what happened. What did it happen? I don't know. I've got no sound. Oh, that's why. Oh. And bug. Right, so you should be seeing bug now. Oh, apparently I left my mic on.